Good evening, Rambler Sports fans, and welcome to this week's Valentine's Day edition of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Bridget Murphy.
And I'm Audrey Bailey.
Love is in the air this week, but I got a cold.
Well, congratulations. How long have you two been together?
Actually, I don't think it's going to work out. I'm not getting any sleep, and it's too much sinus pressure, and to be honest, it's giving me a slight headache.
Well, you know, the single life isn't all that bad. I actually took a quiz on BuzzFeed last night, and apparently I'm single because I'm, quote, too perfect.
Actually, I took the same quiz, and it turns out that I'm single because I'm too attractive.
It's making sense now. It's making more sense.
Can't argue with BuzzFeed.
Well, love might not be in the air for us, but for the Ramblers, it's a different story. The men's volleyball team took care of business once again this week, knocking off the number 10 Lewis Flying Fleet in Romeoville before sweeping McKendree at home. The pair of victories pushes their record to 9-1 and helped them reclaim the big ol' number 1 ranking in the latest NCAA coaches poll. Loyola sent out a different-looking starting lineup to face the McKendree Bearcats. Most Rambler starters got the night off against a first-year program that will join the MIVA next year. Loyola dominated early in the first set, mounting an 8-2 lead following 4 consecutive kills by junior Cody Caldwell. The Ramblers never trailed and went on to seal the set 25-12. Caldwell's one-man show continued in the next set. The junior outside hitter had a hand in 12 of Loyola's first 15 points, racking up 8 kills, 3 aces, and a block. But Caldwell wasn't the only star of the afternoon. Sophomore Trevor Novotny ripped back-to-back aces later in the set, giving Loyola a 23-5 lead before 2 blocks sealed the deal. The Ramblers cruised through the final set and wrapped up match point with a kill from senior Tori Darren. Loyola will return to action Friday with a Valentine's Day trip to Grand Canyon. It will be their first of back-to-back matches with the Antelopes. You know, here at the Sports Locker, we make it our responsibility to accurately report Rambler athletics, no matter what, as free of bias as possible. But right now, you know what? Let's forget the unbiased part and send our congratulations to junior track and field runner Sam Penzenstadler.
That's right. Penzenstadler wrote himself into the Loyola record books this past weekend after running a sub-4-minute mile at the Mayo Invitational in South Bend, Indiana. This happens to be the fastest mile by a Loyola runner in 50 years, second only to the record set by Loyola legend Tom O'Hara in 1964. Penzenstadler's time also ranks 5th nationally and is the fastest mile in the history of the Missouri Valley Conference. Here's Nick Amatangelo with more on Penzenstadler's historic run.
There are a few events in sports that only happen once in a while. A perfect game in baseball. A hole-in-one in golf. A 4-minute mile. Loyola junior Sam Penzenstadler ran in the Mayo Mile at Notre Dame on February 8th. When he crossed the finish line, he discovered that he had become the 409th American to ever break the 4-minute mile mark.
When I finished, all my teammates just came and just hugged me, and they were on the track, which they probably weren't supposed to be, and they were just running, jumping up and down. So that was just the best experience ever.
Penzenstadler's 3-minute 58-second mile was just 2 seconds slower than the fastest mile time in Loyola's history. Head coach Randy Hassenbank expects Penzenstadler's time will qualify him for the National Indoor Track Championships in New Mexico this March.
The NCAA will take in Division I athletics the top 16 competitors in each event, whether it's the 60-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, the pole vault, or the mile. So he's sitting 5th right now, and this mark at 3:58.21 has never not made the meet. Until
then, Penzenstadler is back to work, hoping to improve his already stellar time. After last weekend, he believes he can break the all-time Loyola record that has stood since 1964.
Before, I don't think that's kind of a goal that we always joked about, but now it's actually the real deal. So yeah, definitely next year I'm gonna try for that 356. So.
The way he's been running, he might even reach that goal this year. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Nick Amatangelo.
Penzenstadler's next chance comes at the GVSU Big Meet in Grand Valley State this weekend.
Alongside Penzenstadler, several other Rambler runners had standout performances this past weekend. Senior Jake Audio finished second in the men's 1,000 meter. In the sprints, sophomore Chris Strupp and freshman Jazz Hayes took 11th and 12th in the 200-meter dash. On the women's side, sophomore Brianna Walker finished in 4th place for the 200-meter dash, while senior Olivia Clark earned 9th place in the 3,000-meter run. The Ramblers are back in action when the team splits up between the Iowa State Classic starting on February 13th. The rest of the team will join Penn-Stadler at the GVSU Big Meet starting on the 14th.
The men's basketball team continues its bad luck on the road with a conference loss to the University of Northern Iowa. The shots weren't falling for the Ramblers as the Panthers handily beat them 80-58. Offense was the issue for Loyola, with sophomore Devin Turk leading the team with only 10 points. Junior Christian Thomas and redshirt senior Tony Nixon added 9 apiece. Redshirt freshman Milton Doyle came in averaging nearly 16 points per game, but posted only 2 last night. The team shot a disappointing 36.9% from the field. Northern Iowa, on the other hand, made it rain, or snow, whichever you prefer this time of year. They sank 12 three-pointers and shot 59% from the floor. After the game, head coach Porter Moser said, We let our missed shots and their made shots deflate us. I was happy with how we came out and built up a lead, but they were on fire. The Ramblers will fall to 4-9 in the MVC, 9-16 overall, and are now 0-11 on the road. They'll have another chance to get that first road win Saturday against Drake in Des Moines, Iowa. So again, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Such a great holiday. It really reminds me how single and alone I truly am. So Audrey, do you have a special someone for this joyous holiday?
What is love?
What?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Okay, no more. Let's just get to the package.
Valentine's Day is coming up, and the Rambler Sports Locker wanted to know why the athletes here at Loyola truly do love their sports.
So for Valentine's Day, I don't have a boyfriend. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Basketball is my Valentine this year because I have been playing it since I was about 5 years old, and it's been with me my entire life.
Ever since I started playing when I was in kindergarten, my dad was my coach. He introduced me to it, and he just kind of had me on the team with a bunch of my friends from school, and it just became really fun, something I enjoyed.
I sleep with a basketball pillow every single night. I'm not kidding.
I guess I fell in love with soccer at age 3, I remember playing for my dad, and he would give us badges to put on our shirt, and I made my goal to get every single badge in every single space when I was a little kid.
Well, I love golf. Growing up as a kid, I'd always go to the driving range with my dad, and he'd take me as a little kid, probably about 5-6 years old, and I'd always see all these big adults hitting it far, and I always wanted to be like them, hitting it farther, but I could never seem to do it, so I was just challenged that way, and I guess it kind of stuck with me.
I love the atmosphere, and I wanted to aspire to be one day be playing on that field and listening to the chants while I play, so that's how I fell in love with soccer.
I first fell in love with basketball when I was 5 years old. I just remember shooting baskets with my dad in our alley for hours on end, and him just rebounding for me, and I just fell in love with it ever since, and I've been playing ever since.
Well, I started running when I was in 8th grade because there was this girl that I thought was really cute and I wanted to run. Just so I could, because track was the only co-ed sport in middle school. So I was like, oh man, this is my chance to hang out with her. And so that's how I actually started running distance too, because she run the 5K. And so that's how I started running, to hang out with this one girl. But I never actually hung out with her. I was too afraid. but I went out, that's how I started. Here we are.
For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Christina Carbonera.
Awesome. I don't even have a sport that loves me, so I'm just gonna keep reading. It doesn't look like the women's softball team is feeling too much love either. They started their season with 4 indoor games at the Total Control Sports Invitational in Rosemont, Illinois last weekend. They went 1-3, falling to the University of Illinois 11-1 in 6 innings, Western Illinois University 7-1, and IUPUI 5-2. The lone win for the Ramblers came on Saturday against the University of Illinois Chicago, where they outscored the Flames 8-2. 2 freshmen, Alyssa Minucci and Erica Nagel, were the game changers for Loyola. The two accounted for 3 of Loyola's 10 hits and contributed 4 RBIs. The Ramblers travel south this weekend to Auburn, Alabama for the Tiger Invitational, where they will take on Omaha University, Auburn University, Winthrop University, Western Illinois University, and the University of Marshall. Day one of hockey competition in the Olympics kicked off today with a resounding 7-1 win for Team USA. This week, we celebrate a historic landmark for NHL players in the Olympics. Here's Rebecca Bayer with This Week in History.
The 1998 Winter Olympics, which began February 7th, were the first Winter Olympics in which the NHL allowed their players to participate. The league decided to send some of its players to Nagano, Japan to participate due to a dire need for publicity. The games were a success, and this Winter Olympics are the fifth that the NHL has participated in. However, the risks at the Sochi Olympics seem greater than the rewards. It is likely that the NHL will opt not to participate in the 2018 Olympic Games in South Korea. NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley said a decision will be forthcoming in the next 6 months. Despite Daley's negative opinion on the matter, fans are hoping to see a USA team return to the Olympic ice in 2018.
Thanks, Rebecca. 9 out of the 10 Valley teams started their softball seasons this past weekend. Here's Madeline Kenny to count out the top 3 starting pitchers in the Valley with this week's MVC Top 3.
It was opening weekend for college softball this past weekend, and the Valley pulled a few outstanding upsets. Picking the top 3 pitchers was not easy, but someone had to do it. Loyola gets things started at spot number 3 on my list with sophomore Ashley Rogers. Rogers fueled the Ramblers to their first win of the season against the crosstown rivals UIC, holding them to just 2 runs. She finished the weekend with a 1-0 record, posting a 3.0 ERA, with 3 strikeouts in a total of 9 innings. The number 2 spot goes to senior Slow Anderson from Wichita State. Anderson went 3-0 overall on the weekend, pitching a total of 14 innings. Against Jackson Saturday on Friday, Anderson struck out 6 batters, only allowing 3 hits and 4 runs in 7 innings. On Saturday, Anderson pitched 4 strikeouts in 4 innings against the University of Texas Martin. And later that evening, against Louisiana Tech, Anderson pitched 3 innings, striking out 2, and allowing only 4 hits, leading Wichita to their 3rd straight win. And the number 1 starting pitcher in the Missouri Valley Conference goes to Chelsea Ross, a sophomore at Northern Iowa. Ross was rusty Friday, pitching 6 innings against the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns, until she was relieved from her mound after allowing 12 hits and 6 runs. Why is she the number 1 spot? Because she recovered herself Saturday, helping the Panthers upset number 10, Texas, 6-3. She pitched 7 innings and allowed just 6 hits and surrendered only 3 runs. That's it for this week's MVC Top 3. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Maddie. If there's one person who knows nothing about fashion, it's Joaquin Carrig. So who better to talk about Olympic style than our very own Joaquin Carrig?
That's right, Audrey. I'm definitely not a fashion expert. Believe me, I am as far qualified to speak about anything fashion-related as anybody. I don't know Gucci from Gap. I mean, to me, I think it's perfectly acceptable to be seen in public with socks and sandals. It's comfortable. But even I couldn't contain my inner, I don't know, who's a fashion expert these days? Craig Sager? I don't know. Anyways, even I had to speak out when I saw the ridiculous, no, that's too kind of an adjective, preposterous, scandalous uniforms some of these athletes had worn at the Olympics so far. And yes, a new word did have to be created for this segment. It's those darn Norwegians. Back in 2010, at the Vancouver Winter Olympics, the Norwegian curling team decided it would be a good idea to take the ice wearing these uniforms. They even made this look good. Yeah. Apparently, they thought their outfits were a tad too conservative. After all, their shirts were simply a plain red, and their uniforms were only wacky enough to win them a silver medal in curling. So this year they went with this. Yes, these suits are so incredibly blinding, those in attendance that are susceptible to epileptic seizures should be asked to leave the premises immediately. Of course, why destroy the concept of fashion once in Olympics when you could do it several more times? Yes, the curlers from Norway have at least 8 different uniforms they plan to unveil throughout the games. Norway wasn't the only country struggling with a basic sense of fashion. Apparently, and I'm completely hypothesizing here, Germany had a difficult time deciding the color for their uniforms, so they used all of them. Yes, even my grandmother wouldn't approve of these uniforms. My only saving grace for stressing over this huge fashion faux pas was that my confidence that the good old US of A would raise the bar over these hooligans from Europe. The land of the free and the home of the brave wouldn't let me down. I mean, Ralph Lauren was in charge of designing their uniforms. Nothing could possibly go wrong with these U.S.
That's a good look for you, Joaquin. High fashion.
Well, with most of the Blackhawks working on their tan in Sochi right now, the rest of the players in the NHL are enjoying their extended Olympic break. But who's going to come out on top in the second half? We'll find out in the Weekly Ramble.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Ramble. I'm Bridget Sheeran here at the Brendan Bond Memorial Podium with Gabe Perez and Alex Whitler. Today we're going to start off with a little bit of hockey. I know the NHL isn't playing right now, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about the fact that they are about to hit their stretch run of the season once the Olympic break ends. So with that being said, who do you see in the Stanley Cup in June from both the East and the Western Conference? Gabe?
Well, I'm going to have to go with my favorites from the Western Conference, Blackhawks. Although their Blues are leading the conference right now, I have a feeling that the Blackhawks are going to come back. And if you actually look at the Olympic hockey team, most of the members are from the Blackhawks. So woo-woo. From the Eastern Conference, I am a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, but I did not see them coming up, so I think it's going to be another rematch between the Bruins and the Blackhawks.
All right, I kind of like that answer. I am a Bruins fan.
Whoa, whoa.
And Alex, you?
All right, well, to be completely honest, I agree with you, Gabe. I think the Blackhawks are a very firm contender. But in honor of my favorite moderator, I think that the Boston Bruins will be showing their faces as well.
So you both tried to win me over with flattery. That will get you far on Valentine's Day. However, Alex did call me her favorite moderator, so I'm going to have to give her the point. Sorry, Gabe.
I was trying to even out the favoritism, you know?
It's all right. It's okay. You have to call me your favorite. That's how you get the points around here.
It's like nepism, but in the broadcasting thing.
Exactly. So, next up, we have the women's softball team who started. They started last weekend. You got track and field going outdoors in a couple weeks, and you got the volleyball team hitting stride in their season. That being said, which spring sport are you most excited about, Alex?
To be completely honest, again, I love the men's volleyball team. I think they're really exciting. They're doing a great job. They were #1 in the country. So I'm going to have to say them, and not to mention they're hilarious. Have you seen their Harlem Shake video? I mean,
pretty good, but I have seen better. Rambler Sports Locker put together a pretty good Harlem Shake video last year.
True.
Check it out. Steve Manny, our old executive producer, was dressed as an elf. Gabe?
All right, so we're in a new conference, and that means new competition, and the track and field team last year killed it at the Horizon League Championship. The girls took first, the guys went second, and I think they're going to come back and do work this year in the new conference. We got Sam with a new breaking 4 in a new school record. We have Jay Kinney who kills it in the 400. The 4x4 team, we have 3 original members, and Jake Mazenki is coming back, and he ran with us last year. And I think they're going to hit around 3, hopefully break 3. That would be dope. And so men's track and field, I'm really looking forward to that.
Both good answers. The volleyball team is #1 in the country. But Sam Penzenstadler did just add himself to a very, very exclusive list, so I think I'm going to have to go with Gabe and the track and field team.
you might not be my favorite moderator ever again.
Well, then I might have to take your
I'm
points
just
away.
kidding. Just kidding.
So we're going to go with a trivia tiebreaker. As everyone knows, it's the Sochi Olympics right now, and the USA is doing a pretty decent job. They have racked up a total of 12 medals so far, but how many of those medals are gold?
Ooh.
7.
3.
Gabe was closer. It's 4. So Gabe wins the Ramble.
Good job.
That'll do. If you don't agree with me, you can check out our Facebook page and vote for your winner. Back to you guys at the desk.
I don't know about you, but I'm just excited for spring weather, if there is such a thing here in Siberia. Well, that's about it for this week's edition of the Rambler Sports Locker. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram using any of the handles you see listed below. And don't forget to check out our website at ramblersportslocker.com. Until next time, I'm Bridget Murphy.
And I'm Audrey Bailey. And we actually brought just a little something for the two of us, some chocolate. So I hope your Valentine's Day is as great as ours will be. And thanks for stopping by the locker. And don't forget to turn out the lights.
Gosh,
all right,
I'm
let's
so excited.
dig in.
Which one?
This one.
Okay.
That's
God.
toothpaste.
That says caramel. It's not caramel.
Oh my God, you paid for these?
I did, just a little too much apparently. Oh my God.
That's terrible.
Okay. Val, that's not for us. No. It's a no for me.
Toothpaste.